God's covenant with Israel, unbroken, unchangeable, and active today. The question before us is twofold. Is God still with Israel, and is modern Israel the same as biblical Israel? Scripture answers both clearly. From Genesis to Revelation, God calls his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob everlasting, tied to a specific people and a specific land. Genesis 17:7-8. I will establish my covenant, for an everlasting covenant. I give to you and your descendants all the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession. Jeremiah 31:35-37. As long as the sun, moon, and stars endure, the seed of Israel shall not cease from being a nation before me forever. Ezekiel 36:24-28. God will regather them from the nations, bring them into their land, cleanse them, and give them a new heart. Romans 11:1-2. Has God cast away his people? Certainly not. Romans 11:28-29. Even in unbelief, they are beloved for the sake of the fathers, for the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. This means the modern state of Israel is not a separate entity from ancient Israel. They are the same covenant people, in the same covenant land, moving toward the same prophetic destiny, regathered first in partial unbelief, then destined for national redemption, on the claim that Israel kicked out people. Ernest, could you please provide verifiable proof that Israel has expelled people from land that was not either 1, recovered from aggressors during war, or 2, historically tied to them under biblical and legal claim? History shows. In 1948, Israel was attacked by surrounding Arab nations the very day it declared independence. Many Arabs fled, some by choice, others at the urging of Arab leaders promising a swift victory. At the same time, over 850,000 Jews were expelled from Arab countries between 1948 and 1970. The narrative that Israel kicked out people often ignores context, mutual displacement, repeated wars of aggression against Israel, and the biblical right to the land. Is it lawful for Israel to drive out inhabitants today? In the Old Testament, God commanded Israel to drive out certain peoples as an act of divine judgment. Deuteronomy 7:1-2, Numbers 33:50-56. That specific command was tied to the conquest era, but the principle still stands. The land belongs to God, and he has given it to Israel. Leviticus 25:23. The land shall not be sold permanently, for the land is mine. Joel 3:1-2. God will judge nations for dividing up my land. Acts 17:26. God determined the appointed boundaries of nations. Today, Israel's defense and territorial claims are lawful in God's sight when they are protecting what he has given them and securing their people from harm. Addressing Will's statement. This present-day Israel is not the same. Will. Scripture does not allow us to separate modern Israel from biblical Israel. Paul, writing after the crucifixion, still called them his people. Romans 11:1-2. Even in unbelief, they are beloved for the sake of the fathers. Romans 11:28. Yes, they have lost blessings through disobedience. Deuteronomy 28. But they have not lost the land promise. God swore he would never break that covenant. Leviticus 26:44-45. On mercy and warfare. Will, you raise a fair concern about mercy? Scripture does call for restraint in warfare. Deuteronomy 20:10-12, and Israel should continue striving to minimize civilian harm. But we must remember, Ecclesiastes 3:8, there is a time for war and a time for peace. Modern Israel has been attacked repeatedly from 1948 to the present, often by enemies who hide behind civilians to increase collateral damage. The responsibility for much of the suffering lies with aggressors who use human shields, not the defenders protecting their people. And here you're right, Will. You don't mercilessly attack someone and then cry foul when getting your behind whipped. That's exactly what Hamas and similar groups have done, October 7th, 2023 being the latest example. Bottom line, God is still with Israel. The covenant people remain the covenant people. The land still belongs to them by divine grant. Their regathering in the modern era is not a political coincidence. It is prophecy unfolding. Defense of that land and those people is lawful in God's sight, even as they must, and often do, show mercy when possible. But mercy does not mean surrendering God's covenant promise or failing to protect their nation from those sworn to destroy it.